You know, I love to see a movie with a little mystery and intrigue, and John le Carré has got a pretty good track record when we've seen his books adapted to the big screen. The latest is called Kind of Traitor, and it's directed by Susanna White. It stars Ewan McGregor and Stellan Skarsgård. We've also got Damian Lewis in there and Naomie Harris, who we all know as Moneypenny in the new James Bond movies. And it certainly feels like we go on a cool European trip there. And it also feels a little bit like Ewan McGregor and Stellan Skarsgård are friends in real life. And they've tried to figure out a way to get on screen together. I'm not sure if they have before. This is the first time in my memory that I can see that these two actors are working together. And man, do they have a lot of fun. Every time that Stellan Skarsgård sees Ewan McGregor, who plays a teacher at a university, he gets drawn into this kind of potboiler mystery here. Stellan Skarsgård is actually a money launderer who works for for Russian gangsters. But every time that Stellan Skarsgård sees Ewan McGregor on screen, he yells out, "Professor! Professor!" So he's always having a good time, you know? They're always having fun. And he's inviting Ewan McGregor, who's kind of this little meek, a little quiet, a little shy kind of human being, to these crazy, elaborate, expensive, audacious parties, and sort of taunting him with drugs and women and all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, Ewan McGregor's having a complicated relationship with Naomie Harris, who is a very successful lawyer. They're married, but their marriage is kind of having some troubles. There's some trust issues going on in there. So she doesn't know why Ewan McGregor is friends with this guy and wants to help him out, but she kind of supports her husband and tries to figure this out. And then they get drawn into kind of a little bit more of a familial type setting, where Stellan Skarsgård is actually concerned for the well-being of his family, and Ewan McGregor and Naomie Harris step up to kind of show their support to this family and to this group of people. And it really humanizes some of the stuff that I imagine must be happening at some super high sort of levels of corruption within all kinds of government. But you know, the Russian families and the Russian corruption, it seems to be the flavor of the week when it comes to bad guys on cinema screens. So that's kind of where the camera is pointed and the direction of the narrative is in this movie. I kind of dug this movie. I don't think that it's a revolutionary film. I think Naomie Harris, apart from, you know, always commanding the screen and having a lot of charisma and having a lot of charm, she's a wonderful actress. I feel like she's grossly underused in this movie, and that's too bad. I think that she could have been the lead in this film, and that would have made things a lot more interesting. I always love seeing Ewan McGregor on screen. I'm a huge fan of his, so it's fun to just watch how he kind of, you know, figures out all of these different dilemmas that he's faced with. Stellan Skarsgård does seem to be having an incredible later career. He just seems to, like the Marvel movies that he walks through, he just seems to be having his own party, no matter where he's going and whatever movie he's in. So it's always fun to watch him. Damian Lewis plays this very uptight spy within the British government who has to follow all kinds of policy. And man, he does an incredible amount of maintaining composure and trying to show some emotion without moving his lips in any decipherable way. I mean, he's just so clenched in this movie, and he's going through a tremendous amount of stress, but he's learned how to compartmentalize all of this stuff because he's a bureaucrat, and he deals with all kinds of policy and all kinds of kind of nefarious ways to deal with human beings when they're sucked in the middle of these huge, complicated controversies and conspiracies. There's an attempt to kind of save the family and get them away from the Russian mobsters. They will stop at nothing to basically wipe out anybody that knows anything about the money and, of course, keep all of the money. There are some almost mustache-twirling bad guys in this movie, which makes it a little bit cheesy and silly. But still, it unravels in a fun way on screen. I really like the composition of the frame. I really like the sort of intimate shots of characters together and sort of soft focus stuff that Susanna White and her DOP have worked out for this movie. It's a really lovely looking movie. I also like the fact that they set a lot of the action in Marrakesh, which I've personally been to, and I love to see presented on screen. It's an incredible city, and it's an incredible cinematic city. There's also stuff in Paris, and we go through London and stuff as well. So it almost feels like you get a little bit of a European vacation in this movie. At the heart of it, some of this stuff doesn't ring with a real sense of truth or a real sense of danger or peril. It does feel a little manufactured. But there is an intelligence to the way that this stuff is all assembled and put together. And honestly, I do love the anguish and the personal toil that we get to see the characters go through as they try to deal with all of these hyper-real situations and the impending doom that is facing this family. I do think, though, that A Most Wanted Man that Philip Seymour Hoffman starred in a couple of years ago was more effective with that. I also thought George Clooney's The American presented some interesting kinds of ways that, subverting the law and avoiding the right path can actually have on a human being. Interesting material for sure for a film. I think Our Kind of Traitor is fun. It doesn't really hit all the highs that we want, and Naomie Harris deserves to be seen in much bigger ways. She's terrific. I'm going to give Our Kind of Traitor a 7 out of 10. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.